And I think we're podcasting.
Uh-oh. Are we live?
I think so.
All right.
I always panic about the fucking levels though. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just like, is this going to be okay? Then, I want to fiddle. Like,
Yeah.
give it a bit of a boost.
Well, I always want to stop it and listen back and be like, okay, all right, that was good.
Well, too late for that.
Ah, well.
I think you're on mic 2.
Yep.
So, Tom,
Yes.
I have this book with me that I want to read from.
Okay.
This one is called The Practical Pyromaniac.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's a Bible of sorts.
I see.
And in times of turmoil, as we are in these days, Jesus is coming back soon and everything, right? It's good to know about practical usages within the realms of pyromania.
I see. Fire is cleansing.
Fire is cleansing. Well, there is that type of message. This is from the introduction, The Paradox of Fire. Fire is the most important agent of change on Earth. It makes our cars and airplanes move, it purifies metals, it cooks our food, it also destroys forests and pollutes the atmosphere. Fire is also one of the most paradoxical forces in nature. Sometimes it's incredibly difficult to light a much desired campfire and keep it going, while at other times unwanted fires start far too easily. The Greek philosophers of the classical era, two Greek philosophers of the classical era, really real shitty today. Fire was a tangible material thing. The legends they repeated held that noble Prometheus purloined fire from Mount Olympus and secretly gave it to human beings, much to the chagrin of an angry Zeus. As Greek civilization progressed, legends became insufficient. People sought to understand fire on a more scientific basis. The first major non-mythological theorist was the Greek scholar Empedocles, who devised the earliest well-known explanation of the nature of the world. Everything, Empedocles said, was made up of 4 elements: earth, air, water, and fire. This was called the 4-element hypothesis. Eris Bumtottle refined that.
I think you nailed that one too.
Yes. So, and for the next 2,000 years, it was accepted with only minor modifications as the cosmological basis for the entire universe. The hypothesis stated that everything in the world is composed of these 4 elements. The only difference between all the things we see or touch is the relative abundance of the 4 constituent components. Wood, according to Aristotle, is a composition of earth and fire, as evidenced by the way the wood burns. Non-burning rock is mostly earth, with perhaps a bit of water added. In the Middle Ages, the explanation no longer fit the results of many experiments that involved fire. Many alchemists had excellent experimental technique and analyzed a number of chemical processes in their quest to turn base metals into gold. But when fire was involved, their experiments yielded results that didn't jive with the classical 4 elements worldview. The pillars of cosmological doctrine were crumbling away. The alchemists were beginning to suspect that the world was more complex than they had been taught. And that's why I started this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
The existing media structure, maybe it's not enough.
I see. So, and the world is maybe more complex than you thought, and it takes more types of media to adequately explain it.
Yeah.
I like the book. I like the idea.
He's by the author of Backyard Ballistics.
Backyard
Backyard
that
Ballistics.
sounds familiar, but
And I have another one of his books called Absinthe and Flamethrowers: The Art of Living Dangerously. I found this guy on with those internet lists that go around, the 30 worst titled books ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, The Practical Pyromaniac.
Yeah.
I just went right on Amazon and bought that. I was like, give this to me.
Yeah, it's eye-catching. I'd say if I was in a bookstore, if there were any bookstores left, I would probably buy it if I saw the title.
Keeping safety in mind. Camping stoves can be dangerous. The priming process produces a large alcohol flame that envelops the stove for several moments. So the stove must be used on a non-combustible surface. Do not use indoors, near flammable material, or inside a tent. Very
I'm wondering
practical.
how many cases they read about before they actually had to print that.
They got diagrams. And
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
how many people, like, tents caught on fire from lighting inside or something like that?
Yeah. Like, I'm the guy that comes along the camping trip with
Yeah.
a new book.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your reading material? Oh, you'll see. So, Tom,
Yes.
we're doing a little podcast today.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I'm doing a video one. I don't know how this is
Yes.
going to go. I don't know how you're going to look. I don't know if you're telegenic. I'm not. But once you're like, I have the face for radio. That's what my mother always taught me.
Well, I think half of it is like what my parents always told me, but it's how polished and confident you come off looking, and that's usually what sells it more than anything physical.
I shaved.
I noticed.
Yes, I shaved for that motherfucker up there. Not for you.
I hope you appreciate the
I've
effort,
never
the
shaved
additional
for
effort.
another man. So,
What could be better?
what could be better? I shaved for you.
Yes.
I want you to know that.
Practical pyromania and a shaved mat. My day's complete.
Well, when you get these weird ideas in your head about, being on camera and making a podcast or something, you're like, how do I approach this? I got some questions.
Yes.
Did I take a picture? I believe I took a picture.
Okay.
So, hold on a second.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, shit. What did I do? Where are they?
They're in the far right corner. I don't know.
Oh, can you cover for me while I get the questions ready?
Sure. I really like your improvised podcast episodes with Nicholas Farraguna, and I was wondering if you had anyone in mind for the next one. Were they all be with Nicholas, or was there another musician that perhaps you were interested in working with for the next episode?
Yeah. The Jamcast.
Jamcast,
That's where
right.
Nicholas and I get together, put down some tracks, and it's all improvised.
Yep.
I say I don't edit it. Actually, I do.
Well,
But it's only when we're getting sometimes Nicholas uses a repeater,
okay.
and sometimes we're just cycling through the same phrase over and over again. That
Sure.
gets boring. So
Yeah.
that's when I just cut out like a minute of just playing the same thing. But other than that, it's all totally improvised. What I'd like to eventually get is a rapper.
Nice.
So it would be me and Nicholas and a rapper.
Do you have anyone in mind for that?
Yeah. David Whitaker would be awesome.
David
Or,
Whitaker would be really good. About
if some rapper is coming to Tokyo from another country, then he would be able to do like a guest spot. And then he would be able to have
that'd be interesting,
like
actually.
recorded material in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Just being able to be streamed anytime.
Yeah,
So
actually.
like, that would be kind of interesting. Instead of a show, or in addition to shows, do a jamcast.
How about like maybe Ray from Beach Hackers, or I was thinking the first person I thought of was Rashad from formerly from Rock and Flow. I don't think they're together anymore, but he works with another band, Bloops, I believe, and he's very much into like live improvising and on stage. He might be perfect for that.
That'd be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to contact him.
Yeah.
The one of the drawbacks is in Tokyo the studio pricing.
Yeah,
For one
of course.
person or two people, it's really cheap.
Yeah,
But
right.
as soon as you go up to three people, it like triples in price.
Hmm.
So the idea with the Jamcast is like Nicholas and I rehearse, record, and publish all within like a $20 fee.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
So instead of securing a show, practicing for the show,
Right.
playing the show once at 9:30 in Shibuya somewhere,
Yeah.
we can preserve that recording and use it as published material
Yeah.
through my own channel, through
That's
my
fantastic.
own website. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I like them actually. I listen to them sometimes.
Yeah. I was. I just liked how you kind of went in. I read all the genres that you said it covered, and I was like, no way. And I was like, no, you covered it very thoroughly, actually. It was. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Sure.
So,
I think we might do some like '90s glam rock. Or
There you
80s
go.
Glam rock. Nicholas is huge into that. Nicholas is also a really trained musician. So
Yeah,
he
clearly.
loves his own styles, but he's able to switch. And because I've been a backup drummer for a few different projects, it's like, okay, this is the rock song, and then this is the jazzy song. So
Right.
I have to be pretty quick on my feet
Yeah,
to be able to learn all that. So Nicholas, he knows the music as a almost as like an engineer or a workhorse.
Ah, yeah.
So with his like rockin', like the music that he loves to shred on, that's like really his personality. But when he does the other stuff, he's playing it more from like a trained perspective.
More like a studio musician
Yeah,
kind
exactly.
of thing. Okay.
Yeah. All right, I got the questions.
Wonderful.
That was a good cover.
Oh,
We talked
my
about
pleasure.
Me.
Yeah.
So I wrote out a whole bunch of questions. I
All
don't
right.
know where they're going to take us. Where
Okay.
we're going to go. I thought we would start off. Okay, so what do you do, Tom Melensky?
Melesky, no N. But
sorry,
and anyway,
Melesky.
it's all right. But you're not the first person to
I wonder
say it that
why.
way.
All right, whatever.
But
sorry.
I currently I just teach. I went through my work history. It's very much a roller coaster of different items and careers that I've tried. But right now I'm just a full-time teacher at Berlitz.
What type of Berlitz? So English conversation?
That's it.
Which,
Yeah.
Which location do you teach at?
I teach in Akasaka, actually.
Akasaka, that's
Yeah.
okay. How, you've been doing that for a while?
Just a year and a half now. I always, for a very long time, I started off about when I first came here 20 years ago, and I was working for a robotics company as an engineer. And basically, we were installing systems that kind of did laboratory techniques or testing for new possible like drug bases. And yeah.
Drug base.
yeah, like
Basic
potential
drugs?
for like the potential for something like clinical testing. So you'd get a
Not like a military base.
no,
Not
just for
a
more
bit-
commercial, only commercial
Drug
purpose.
base.
Yeah, no, nothing like that.
No.
Basically, you had a plate of 99 holes with different compounds in each one, and it was just adding anything, and whatever gave a good reaction, they'd keep and put in the next round. So
Okay. Wait, so so what's your training then?
I was a mechanical engineer.
So why did you quit mechanical engineering and go into teaching? There's a huge price difference in your wages.
Yeah, but
there's
the
a big
first
lifestyle difference as
three
well.
letters both, or I don't know, I have no. What for? What do I say? Wasn't the wisest career move, but I wasn't happy. I think most of the different directions I've gone in career-wise have always been based on the fact that I just wasn't happy where I was. I wasn't sure what the right path was, but whatever I was currently doing was not satisfying. And to be fair, a lot of the times I've kind of looked back and said, that wasn't the best choice, but, c'est la vie. I wasn't happy because basically it was the whole office that I was working out of was just a big experiment because nobody kind of knew what they were doing. It was the first time they had that company had opened an office in Japan, and Japan's business was totally different. The business style, anything, North American business style and Japanese business style, they dedicate courses on how they're different, and it was.
When I started at the Japanese company I work at, I did a lot of research into corporate structure, company structure, presentations are even super different.
Right, and it's little things like I don't know if somebody invites you out to go drinking. Oops.
Yeah.
And closer, okay. You States you might just that maybe another time. Japan, you shouldn't be passing up any, especially if it was a superior. You can't say no. So I was unhappy with that. So I unfortunately joined I joined a school and tried to be an actor. So
You're an artist? Did your did your parents force you to go into robotic engineering?
No, they encouraged me, and I didn't really have. I didn't have, and to this day, it's kind of the same thing. I didn't have one single driving factor where I was like, this is what I want to do with my life.
Sure.
And so it's caused me to wander a lot. And if somebody says, you're probably going to be good at this, you'd enjoy this, I'd be like, yeah, well, that sounds great.
Guess that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. And I had a proclivity for math and science, so being good parents, my parents said, why not go into engineering?
And you're half Japanese?
My mother's Japanese American,
Okay.
but yeah,
So
she's 100% Japanese by blood, but
it's American culture.
yeah,
My understanding amongst a lot of Asian Americans
Yes.
is they integrate into outward society very well, but still at home preserve their whatever country they're from, especially amongst Koreans and Chinese and Japanese, their cultural values. Is that or were you just one of those guys watching He-Man cartoons and riding your bikes in cul-de-sacs or something like that?
I did ride my bike into cul-de-sacs, and I did watch He-Man. So
Cheers to that.
there's nothing wrong with He-Man. Well, my mother was already third generation, so it was a
Oh, okay,
diluted,
sure.
and most of the culture that she brought, that she had at the household, she was born in Hawaii, was more Hawaiian than Japanese.
Interesting. You're from California, or
From Connecticut, actually, believe it.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're and then the Connecticut
Yeah.
Japanese Americans weren't sent to the camps in World War II or something, right?
Well, no, actually,
Did we talk about this in the car?
we talked a little bit
Okay,
over a
sure.
few drinks,
Yeah.
but my great uncle actually enlisted. It was in Hawaii though, so I don't know the full story about it. But none of my family went to the camps. So what I do remember my uncle saying was he was often treated worse than the enemy.
I believe it. Yeah.
And picked on, bullied, the story he told though was much more like humorous. Like there's a giant guy that charged him and he just ducked out of fear and the guy went flying over him and he kind of from that accident won the fight, so he kind of won the respect of a lot of people around him. But
Strange.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, then going back, so then
Yeah.
you were, because I was asking about that Asian culture stuff because a lot of there's this weird thing amongst certain Asian cultures where
Yeah.
they love to see 3-year-olds playing Bach perfectly on a piano, and so but you don't really find that with Western cultures. So there's this weird thing where by 3 years old, they must be performing in front of a symphony.
Well, I keep thinking, you like that the tiger mom kind of mentality.
Yeah.
I was pushed to study hard, but nothing like that. So,
I would imagine if you're more the Hawaiian, coming from Japan through Hawaii to
Yeah.
Connecticut,
Yeah.
that's a hard one to pin down, eh?
yeah, there
It's a
wasn't
hard
a
one.
lot. If I
Yeah.
started a club, there wouldn't be many members. That's
So you're part of this genetic streamline that
Yeah.
that spans distance instead of takes root.
Yeah. We are a nomadic people, I guess. But my parents met in El Salvador, so in Central America. So they incorporated a lot. They don't. My mom doesn't really speak Japanese, although she can pick up a few words. She actually in university majored in Spanish. So, and my father spoke Spanish and French. So,
And then they were in El Salvador.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Were they supporting some sort of A, communist revolution, or B, CIA?
C, the Peace Corps.
subversion operation, yeah.
Just the Peace Corps.
Just
They
the
were,
Peace
yeah.
Corps.
I don't know.
CIA.
Yeah. Conspiracy theorists, you can go find out. I don't really feel the need to besmirch the Melesky name.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. So where does the Melensky name come from then?
It's Lithuanian.
Lithuanian.
Yeah. They told me it was originally something like Meleskis when my ancestors first came to the States, and Melesky was actually their it changed to Melesky to make it sound more American.
A lot of people, I kind of like it. I kind of like that change. It's like, what's your name?
Yeah.
Tom Thimmeling from Skidabum. You're Tommy Q from now
Right,
on.
yeah, a little bit, but it was just the effort to fit in.
Same with
I
my
think.
name. My name is Bigelow,
Bigelow,
but it
yeah.
comes from Baguley Hall, an area,
Oh, wow.
and the Surfs moved from Baguley to America.
Wow.
And they just said Bigelow.
That's
Baguley.
Yeah.
Or Bigelow.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Yeah.
Nippon. Japan?
Yeah.
No, Nippon. Japan.
Japan, yeah, we're gonna.
What's your name? Chiaki? No, your name's Chucky. Chucky from Japan.
That reminds me of. Did you ever see the movie? There was
Chucky the Jap.
movie called Alien Nation with James Caan, and there was a.
Rings a bell.
But basically, the people. It was. I forget how the members came, but they kind of integrated. It's kind of. Shoot. Anyway, in any case, they kind of just integrated. They looked barely human, but they were bald, and they had kind of like spots on their head. They looked almost like beans or something.
Aliens.
Yeah, and he would say his name, and the guy would just go like, "God bless you. I'm just gonna call you John from now on, okay?" You like that?
But it gives America a unified culture.
Yeah.
And if it can be a little bit hard for everybody
Yeah.
to remember everybody's like ethnic backgrounds. In some
Yeah.
way, it's like you're liberating yourself of your ethnic attachments. It's like,
Yeah.
now you're a new person. Like wherever you go, your name changes. Like my name's
Yeah.
Matthew
Right.
Bigelow, but in Japan, I'm Mashu.
Yeah, of
Mashu
course.
Bigelow.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
can't expect everybody in Japan to change their pronunciation.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like people like my older brother, his name's Ryan.
Right.
And Lion.
Yeah.
No, not Lion. Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan. And then they would repeat his name, Lion.
Yeah.
So is that some sort of racist strategy on behalf of the Japanese? I don't
Yeah.
think so. It's just
No.
wherever you go, your name changes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great point, actually. I would just pick it up and start introducing myself. I'm Toma, and a couple people I remember look at me strange, like, "No, your name's Tom. What are you talking? Why are you saying Tomu?"
fuck?
And I'm like,
Changing governments.
"Sorry, just it's such a habit, and that's what I'm used to hearing, you know." So it's you just run with it.
With all these experiments in robotics these days, and
Yeah.
AI and automation, does it make you kind of think you should go back and maybe pursue this new wave of possibilities within the realm of robotics?
I feel like if I did that,
Instead of going underground in some drug-based...
it does. It's a more tempting option for sure. I do feel like I'd have to start over, and the advances in technology in the last 20 years have it's been a considerable change.
Is
And
that when you quit 20 years ago?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess 18, but
Sure.
yeah, at that point, and I was a mechanical engineer, but I'd have to go into computer science for sure.
Yeah.
It's actually quite different.
And learn coding. There's not much
Yeah.
in terms of physical. It's
Yeah.
a lot of coding.
I mean, the programming languages I was learning was like Fortran, and somebody like who does, works in programming now be like, "Oh my God, like, why not put it in Morse code or something?"
I'll dust off this 486 SX33, and here's your 14.4 Mbps modem.
Yeah, or
We'll get you DOS 6.0 on this thing pronto.
I'm gonna connect with you. Put your phone in the jack. Like like those dial-in modem. That's yeah. That's very good.
It also sounds very similar to how printers used to sound.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a good point too.
So then now you you're an English teacher, and
Yeah.
so is this good for you, or
Um,
because I'm an English teacher?
yeah. I guess it's just this phase. I always looked to do like a job and then something I wanted to pursue in my own time that I'd hope maybe would lead to something bigger. This is the first time where I've just kind of said I'm just going to work full time and worry about retirement. So that's been the past year and a half. And
Right.
is it great? No. Could it be worse? It could be much worse.
Could be much worse.
Yeah.
Being fully employed is it's easy to get a job as a teacher if you speak fluently.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. At my job, I made a school,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
a paperless school,
Oh, great.
and I make all of the decisions. Nobody tells me what to do. I have total control and creativity, and I get very positive feedback.
Oh, wonderful.
And it focuses a lot on artificial intelligence and IoT and all of these things. So it also turned me into a researcher
Great.
into these things. So it's like, yeah, you can just say, oh, you're an English teacher. And in some ways, when I consider performing some songs,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I have to, in Tokyo, to perform songs or to be creative on stage requires so much prior planning, if you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean.
absolutely.
But this job, I just go and I get to do whatever I want, and I have like a conference room to myself, with
Yeah.
a view of like Tokyo Bay and shit. So it's like, is it an English teacher? Yeah, but it's also something else.
Oh, there's definitely a lot of layers. I mean, to that, you can take it in so many different directions. I mean, I feel maybe they should put like A, B, C, D levels to it or grade level to it because it encompasses a lot, but it doesn't say much about what you're really doing.
Yeah.
So,
There's a lot of presupposition, but
yeah.
Berlitz. There's also like, do you plan on climbing the managerial pyramid and gaining control of one school, then building an underground school?
I don't know. My projects
Is there a
I've
way to combine
worked on.
truck bases and English teaching?
Um,
Yes, there is.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there is. But do I want to actually pursue that?
A Kiowa drug base.
I had other ideas about having more like schools where you would kind of go into more foreign-based businesses and use more integrated, not just textbook language, but more conversational, fit for the situation kind of thing at one point. And where actually like I would take a group on a field trip. I took them to like Soul Food House, Whittick David's place,
Sure.
and I asked them specifically, do not speak.
Lamb slider. Go get the lamb slider at Soul Food House.
Blackened catfish is good too.
Yeah, I
Well,
bet
nobody
you it
believed
is.
me that chicken and waffles were good, and they were just like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, they're great." And so that's how that started. I took a couple groups and I made them order in English, and it was actually like kind of a really good experience for them. The school I was working for and I didn't get along that well, so apparently they wanted more control over that, and it didn't end well. So
Right. Yeah, that's the one thing is having most. I would say 95% of managers are totally shitty, and
yeah.
3% are decent, and then 2% are great.
Well,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter where you are, and so I'm very lucky that I've found
Yeah.
myself. I worked pretty hard. And
I believe
for me, like my salary's pretty decent,
Cool.
but it's
Don't rub it in.
I'm not. I'm like, well, yeah.
I'm just
It's
kidding.
not that much, but
Yeah.
it's not. It's above average,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't have to deal with tons and tons of horse shit. So even if I had
Yeah.
to get the opportunity to make an extra 20 grand or 30 grand a year,
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes it's nicer to have total ownership over
Sure.
everything you do.
Yeah.
Of course, one negative aspect of teaching is you always have to be dealing with people who can barely speak the language.
Yeah.
And
No.
even though they're really successful in life, like one of my students
Yeah.
could barely speak English, but he coded parts of the International Space Station.
Right, yeah, and it's an interesting like I'll tell you, I don't have great language skills. Frankly, my Japanese not is not nearly the level it should be for somebody who's lived here for as long as I have. But I was always more attuned to math and science. To come to language, which is one of my weakest skills, is a really hard reality wake up call, excuse me. And
Which preposition do I use?
no, just which idiom. I imagine a lot of those people that are either scientists or accountants. I teach a lot of accountants or researchers. They come from their skill set that they're very successful in, and then go to the one that they're worst at. Yeah, so it's fortunately, most of the people I've dealt with are humble enough they can accept it. Every once in a while, you get people that are just, they don't feel like they can, how do I explain that? They're not ready to take that role where they're the one that should just sit and listen.
I find they're sometimes very arrogant as
Yeah.
well, even though they don't know anything.
Sure.
Just like you say, hey, how's it going? Who?
Yeah, that's a little bit off-putting too. Again, I haven't had too much experience. I've had pretty positive experiences recently, but yeah, people who don't, they probably should learn how to speak more before they learn how to speak English. You know what I mean? Like socialize and like, if you ask them.
These people drive me nuts, quite frankly. And because I've been doing it for like 12 years now.
Sure.
So recently I've been like trying to conceptualize them instead of thinking about them as like individuals.
Yeah.
I almost like think about them as like new recruits at a military academy.
Maybe,
Underground drug base. But what I do is I've been reading this book recently by Jocko Willink, who is like an ex-Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
And he's taken his wartime experiences in Iraq and applied them to business consulting.
Yeah.
And he has this policy called extreme ownership.
Okay.
Where if I'm the leader of like, of course these are just people taking a class, and they're just coming in and they go back to their normal life. But for me, I'm like, I'm going to conceptualize them. So it's like, these are new recruits, and it's my responsibility to train them. If they fail, it's because of my failing. So
that's a good way to look at it.
That means it forces me to put a priority on not only them but also myself.
Right.
And then I kind of apply this idea of upward mobility, where if people get to a certain level, then on their evaluation sheet at the company I work for, I say recommended for professional use. So now that person at a business that is increasingly more important with business English skills, IT, that person on inside of their in their evaluation as an employee at the company by a native speaker who's doing their own very well evaluated course. English is good enough for professional use. So then it's my responsibility to try to. Some of these people might be able to get to that point in the future. So it's like, come on, guys, we gotta go. You know. Otherwise, if I don't conceptualize them and I just meet them on a face-to-face level, year after year after fucking year, they're gonna drive me nuts. And those people can't win.
Right.
Because they're the quitters at English.
Yeah.
Like I said, that guy coded the International Space Station.
Right.
He couldn't speak 30 seconds of English to me.
Yeah.
Even though he's lived in Japan and has years and years and years of English education.
Sure.
I mean, if you're coding the International Space Station, you're reading some pretty serious fucking technical documents in English. But you can't even say, oh, I went to the movie last week, or
Right.
oh, by the way, I was wondering, what do you call a $20 note in
Yeah.
America? Or, like, not like this level. It's like there's nothing.
Right.
It's an empty vessel.
Right.
In terms of English, they're quitters.
Well,
Now they're coming to me.
you have you have your work cut out for you, don't you?
Otherwise, they pull you down with them.
True. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I can see that too. Excuse me.
Oh no.
Glasses are fogging up.
I know. With this, we're entering Japan's rainy season.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're in this. I rented this place. Did we talk about this place?
No.
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 Yeah, so I found this place in a business meeting rental space.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I reserved it and got by credit card and
Right.
got immediately approved.
Wow.
And I thought it was kind of a cool thing
Yeah.
to do. But we are entering the rainy season, where even though it's only like 19, 20 degrees outside.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
that in Fahrenheit?
Wait, 20.
20 degrees. 75? 65?
Wait, it's 9/5 times 20, 180, 30, 68, 70?
68, 70.
Yeah.
See, that's you got Asian math. None of my white friends could do that. None of them. So even though I'm a first generation
Yeah.
Canadian
Yeah.
from my family's from Norway.
Yeah.
And you're third generation American, you still have
I've
Asian
retained.
math. It's a thing, I swear.
Embrace it. I will. Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. Despite that is actually one thing about Japan, where you're like sweating yet cold. It's like
Yeah.
the humidity is high enough, but like if you're not in the direct sun, you're in a breeze. You're still sweating and you're just shivering
Yeah.
from that. So that's,
Yeah, you're
it's always
water's coming out of you, but
Yeah.
you're cold. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
you're arguing with
So,
your own body. What
This
the hell are
one
you
is
doing?
Kind of like that. So, what is the difference between Tom Melesky
Yeah.
before Japan and after Japan?
Wow. It's it's easy to go to another country and at first say and kind of lump everyone in that country into one category when things aren't going your way, when you don't like it. And the problem is it was the same way in your home country, but you never thought of it as the country's problem. You just thought of it like, oh, I don't like my high school, or I don't like that person, or I don't like that company. But it's very easy to go into the whole country is this way. And I went from that stage and then kind of came back around again and had to learn to empathize more. So when somebody did do something that I considered like as some sort of either an attack, even a personal attack of some sort, I'd be like, well, why? Now I have to think more on why, where did that come from? What is it? Why would they possibly do it? They're not doing it for no reason. And it doesn't always, like, it takes some of the impact out of it, at least, so I don't get angry as often or as long as I used to.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
you kind of look at the person a little bit more and say,
Yeah.
oh, you're probably more along this
Yeah.
type of person, or you're wearing these types of clothes, or I see
little bit,
those
yeah.
shoes,
Mhm.
and something like that. Keep going.
Yeah. I'd say I think it's easier not to confront that if you were just living in the same country your whole life. I think it's easier to just be angry, outwardly angry towards everyone about it, than actually having to confront that that person had a point of view as well, and they might have a very substantial reason behind it.
So you have the ability to empathize with
Yeah,
with
for sure.
Confrontation.
A little more than before, at least. Yeah.
I remember I'd get really frustrated really easily.
Yeah.
Like even with like the ticket machines, I'd
Sure.
be like, "What the fuck? Why does it have to be like this
Yeah.
way?" Grr, grr, grr. But now I'm
Doesn't
like,
make any
"Alright,
sense. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's even like people when they're trying to be nice sometimes and they're just asking the same questions over and over again, and it's kind of like, come on, like, yes, I can use chopsticks, yes, I can eat sushi,
Oh,
I've been
yeah,
here
yeah,
20
yeah.
years, like
I've managed to totally fade out of that
oh wow,
because
really?
I wear headphones everywhere,
Yeah, yeah,
and I have the position at my work is
Yeah.
a business position.
yeah,
So
yeah.
people they're working and they come into the English class to learn while working, so
right.
they're not in their social mood,
Right, yeah,
which is great.
yeah,
And even when they do the typical "Where are you from?" and "Why
Yeah.
are you here?" It's like,
yeah.
I refer them to a map.
Well, it's also, I don't think there's that many people in general, on the whole, are not that socially capable unless their job dictates it. And most of the time, as awkward as it is, that's just how they want to try to break the ice with you, too. They want to start off with a compliment. And what compliment? Oh, I never knew that foreigners could eat this food or use these chopsticks, so let me compliment that person. And again, yeah, when it's the 100th time, you're kind of balling up your fists and clenching your teeth. But it most of the time comes from a good place, you know.
Half the time, these headphones have nothing playing in them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
I just put them on.
Oh, okay.
And problems go away. it's like skip logic.
Nice.
It's skip logic. If I put
well,
these
no,
headphones on, problems go away.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if that's skip logic.
No,
It
no, but
sounds
that's-
like skip logic enough where I can say that and
I think it's a self-defense mechanism.
okay, there we go. Yeah, it's mitigating an
Yeah.
issue. And that's where I stand with that. So I understand you. So you live in Chiba.
Yes.
And you're friends with Mickey.
Yes.
And Mickey is also doing a lot of music in the Chiba area.
Right.
And you help him out with that. Or you used to? 'Cause what I remember about you is like one
yeah.
thing you said or mentioned is that you want to help musicians or something like that.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if that's how you still feel. Or do you and Mickey still go out and party it up in Chiba?
I don't party much anymore at all. On occasion, I'll go out just to see a live show, or I do go to his. He has a open mic. I think it's usually the third Saturday of every month, and in a bar called American FM at near Sudanama Station. And you've been there, but I'm just
Yeah,
kind of
I did
plugging it.
once, yeah.
And
It was fun.
yeah, it's a good spot. It's fun, and people should definitely go down and check it out. I'll go down and support that. Occasionally, a lot of the shows that he's in are Sundays, and I fortunately can't stay out late on Sundays, just because I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning on Mondays.
That's early.
It's a little, yeah.
That's really early.
Well, I work in Akasaka, and it's a morning shift.
Oh,
so
you're living in Chiba. That's
yeah.
far.
Yep.
That's far.
So it is what it is, you know. But yeah, at one point I wanted to. Chiba has a very cool scene, and it's a lot of the places that you play, you don't have to do any sort of norm or payments, and I just kind of wanted. There's a lot of Tokyo musicians and bands that are kind of frustrated by that system, I think.
Yeah, the Chiba scene seems to be a little bit more casual.
It is casual, yeah. And it's kind of this half foreign, half Japanese fan base where everybody just goes out and hangs and listens to music. And they have some really nice venues out there. So I was like, let's bring some talented people there, kind of, I don't know, increase the gene pool out in Chiba, because it's a lot of the times it ended up being the same bands playing over and over and over again. Let's mix it up a little bit. And it definitely, for a little while anyway, I was running an event out by a live house called Live House Anga there that's wonderful. Great sound, great atmosphere, not expensive. I'm just trying to introduce new artists every month. And it actually just made a lot of musicians, especially foreign musicians, more aware of the scene out there. And a lot of musicians from Chiba came to Tokyo to collaborate. More and more Tokyo musicians would come out to entertain the Chiba audiences. So on that level, I'd consider it a success.
Yeah, that's cool. I remember that. But there's a lot less communication, I think, these days.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Sometimes I think live music is going by the wayside.
A little bit.
Ways.
Yeah.
I was watching a Black Sabbath live performance from
Yep.
like 1982.
Right.
And I was thinking about the level of technology back then.
Yeah, right.
And that was all everybody had.
Yep.
A lot of people didn't even have TVs.
Right,
Or
yeah.
they only had one TV.
Yeah.
So there was little else to do except go to a concert and see something. But
Yeah.
the rapid change of technology in the past 5 years even means that you could risk it and go to a live house and risk packed trains, or you could Netflix and chill and watch anything you want.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's one reason I've cut back a lot on the amount of live shows I've been doing.
Yeah.
Especially in the past 3 years, I would say. I've seen a drastic shift, even on behalf of the attendees.
Yeah.
People come in and they just start on their smartphones, so...
That might just be also just people's ability to socialize, I think.
Yeah.
I think there was more of a time, excuse me, where you would like to go to an atmosphere like that, have a few drinks, get to know people, listen to live music, and everybody would kind of bond over music. Nowadays, it doesn't seem that way. The people that I do still do that with are, within a 10-year range of my age. But I think that's maybe just cyclical. I think that's going to come back around eventually.
So then, how do you get your music these days, or how do you consume music?
Truthfully, I would just for a while, I would just find a new live house and just go there if I knew the bands or not and just see what they were up to. Nowadays, I tend to watch kind of a lot of React videos on YouTube or those kind of things, and whatever they end up recommending, I'll go check out. But I don't listen to as much new music as I used to, and I'll still go see bands that I used to work with. I'll go see them live, and whatever bands are playing with them, if they're interesting, I'll try to find out more about them. So
Sometimes I also find that a lot of the new music coming out is either rehashing like a 60s beat,
yeah,
or doing like it doesn't feel new to me. Like new music kind of stopped at around 2005 and 2000. Like a lot of EDM might be considered new music, but it's really out of my scope. Like, and I was watching a new band called the Chainsmokers.
Oh, okay.
They're like an EDM group, but they have like this real, like, millennial culture is so boring that these people are really boring too.
Well,
and they just kind of mope around, the music isn't really exciting or very even, I don't know, like, the Chainsmokers are very successful, way more successful than I'll ever be as a musician. But like at the same time, they're representative of this sort of millennial, been popping pills and been confined to these safe spaces my entire life, and these guys just kind of mope around with ironic beards.
Do you think that maybe that's just when you go back to that analog generation, there was still media, there was, radio, MTV, but they always, for better or for worse, picked out the bands that they wanted to focus on to be kind of representative of whatever they wanted to be popular at the time, whether, if there were people making decisions for that. Now there really isn't. Much less so. So it's kind of everybody likes what they find and they like, but there's no direction for it.
Yeah.
And there's no culture that builds on that direction. So
Yeah.
it could just be that lack of, there's no one person at the top saying, this is what everybody should be listening to next. And again, it's just different. I don't know if it's good or bad. It's just, there's so many people going off in so many different directions that no one genre is being built.
When I listen to like underground bands and underground subculture, I hear really interesting things, even within the milieu that I just explained.
Yeah.
But the stuff at the top seems to be like dumbed down.
Yeah, I could see that actually.
So I was listening to some Kanye West the other day.
Yeah.
And some of it I thought was really good. It had like a really big sound and really kind of powerful and like moving forward, not with a message, but just like the music felt like it was rolling forward, like a solid rolling forward beat. But then other times I was like, this doesn't really feel like a Kanye West song, because just sometimes I hear like, yeah, get it, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's all about like the video, where the video has a very attractive, weird-looking African woman doing a workout, which is really hot.
Yeah.
And the music is fine, but it doesn't really strike me as anything that would be Kanye specifically. Just his name is on it.
Yeah.
But I was also listening to some other at the gym I go to.
Yeah.
Like, I just signed up for another gym membership. They play like this kind of just vague. It's almost like elevator music, but that's like the mainstream music.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a lick that sounds cool.
Yeah.
But then they just take that lick and repeat it 50 times throughout the song. And I don't really think anyone really even listens to it. So I'm not sure. I think that the millennial generation has so much information in front of them all the fucking time.
Yep.
That maybe music is not really something to search for anymore, or it's not something to be enamored with on a large scale, because everybody has their own way of distributing their own media. So it's, I don't know.
Well, this is another thing that maybe we were talking about a little bit before, was music now is planned with a visual element. So when you take that visual element away and you're just listening to it, it sounds incomplete. So, and maybe music is being marketed more as kind of a performance piece more than just something like audio stimulation or of some sort. So there are those kind of pauses where you want to be hearing something, but you're probably supposed to be seeing something on the video to go with it. Yeah, like once it gets popular, then more people are just listening to it, but it doesn't always work. It does sound kind of it sounds middling, actually, what you had said before. It doesn't really have a great focus or any direction to it like that.
It's also super easy to make music.
Yeah.
Another thing that I was thinking of is that a lot of the music released these days doesn't use real instruments.
Yeah, that's a good point, too.
And like I can go onto my GarageBand here and make music very easily, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily that good. And when people are making these drum beats, I think that they're not really even drummers. They're just people that are putting a 4/4 time signature, and some of them are, of course, but at the same time, it doesn't really feel like people are playing the music. It feels like some person with a keyboard attached to a MIDI player has just pushed some buttons and hit the repeat button. So the amount of blood, sweat, and tears going into the production of music is a lot less, and that's what we used to really value, is these people would rip music out of their guitars and rip music out of their pianos and fight against this system and produce no matter what. And they had to, harmonize with all these other people and create like this really powerful human sound.
They had to just like synchronize everybody's schedule to meet up for a rehearsal, which is, you know what I mean? They had to really want it.
That's getting harder too.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. There was more of a fight to make that sound that you wanted. and there was a lot more passion that went into it, whether it was positive or negative, because people, always have creative differences, but they were still fighting for that image they wanted, that sound they wanted. So
Exactly.
yeah, so yeah, blood, sweat, and tears. You hear it in the music less and less, I guess.
I'm loading up GarageBand on here.
Oh, okay.
So, do you listen to a lot of new music?
I try, but I don't. Am I supposed to be speaking over this? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. In my day, I used to live for discovering new music, but those days are gone. In other words, I feel that finding new music is something that no longer goes with my style of living. I've given up. No, I don't. Where the hell did that come from? No, I don't know where to begin most of the time. So before it would just be radio. People I work with, some of them that are younger than me, will recommend the music, and I'll give it a shot. But a lot of the times, the sound of the smallest violin, it doesn't hit me the way, it doesn't strike a note, and it's kind of forgettable. And after that, it's really hard to think when with that playing. I found one thing though, I have to listen to a lot of music, and sometimes it will come around, and if I hear it, I'll hear it a second time, and it's had some time to process in the subconscious, and it'll be like, okay, that really strikes a note with me, even though I didn't quite catch it the first time, and then I'll listen to it. But yeah, those are few and far between. So, do you have any recommendations?
Well, I heard. This is one of the reasons why I asked.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, well, hey, why not? Let's.
But that's for me really fun, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't know how to play that instrument.
Yeah.
But I can just put it on. And, it's like the white guy playing the wrong Asian instrument and everything. The guy who's just kind of Asian but Japanese, but the Chinese one is on for some reason.
No. Okay.
Everybody is so sensitive about race and everything, and I really don't believe what I just said. You're not running to the washroom to go and cry.
No.
I honestly think most of this outrage culture is highly manufactured. And I remember growing up, everybody loved racist jokes and making fun of each other's ethnic backgrounds and stuff. Well, in in high school, I was really good friends with two international students, exchange students.
Yeah.
One was from Germany,
and
the other was from Brazil. And the Brazilian guy would always call the German guy a Nazi, and put his finger over his lips like a Hitler statue and goose step.
Really?
And then the German guy would just say, you Brazilians, all you ever do is swing on vines in the trees.
Oh my God.
And they did this for hours.
Yeah.
And it was the funniest fucking thing to watch. Well, one guy calling the other guy a Nazi, the other guy calling each other like a jungle bunny. We laughed our balls off for hours doing this type of shit. Well, it was the best.
Yeah, I know. It's when you're at that level and you can, you're comfortable enough with that person to take the piss out of them.
Yeah.
Then that's a great thing. You know what I mean? You can laugh anything off, and I guess it's just we kind of have to these days with everything available and recorded. We kind of have to take it by the worst case scenario of everything. And it's happening with almost everything, drinking laws. You know what I mean? Now you can't have 0.8 alcohol percent. Some people could drive fine with that. That wouldn't be an issue at all. but one person crashed his car and he had that level, so now everyone pays the
Yeah.
price for that. And I think that's kind of the same way.
The lowest common denominator wins.
Yeah, in this case with racism, it's more by people that are actually hurt, though. So
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's the lowest common denominator. I mean, if you are ostracized from a group for being different and you've had a miserable childhood because of that, I don't want to say that it's that person's fault. It's just that's the worst case scenario, so we have to go from there, you know?
There's this high level executive
Yeah.
that I go drinking with sometimes.
Uh-oh.
He's really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's trying to improve his English skills.
Sure.
But he's also crass, and I'm a little bit crass, so we really get along. And we'll be drinking
Yeah.
at like this Nihonshu bar, and
Yeah.
I'll say something. He's like, It's
Yeah.
like you have a foreign accent. He's like, let's get more drinks.
Yeah, yeah.
And we laugh
But-
at it. It's hilarious.
But that's good, yeah. That is, sure. And when you get to that point, it's great. But some people, it's not it's more mean spirited than that. And, I don't have answers for why it has to be like this, why it has to be so critical, so overprotective.
Yeah.
But,
I'm
yeah.
just not playing the game. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about freedom.
Yeah.
We have is Takashi in the room? Hey, buddy.
Hi.
We got your mic set up for you and everything.
Should I?
Ladies and gentlemen, Takashi Umemiya. Taka.
Wait up, wait.
All right. Well, just so you know,
Yes.
the reason why I found this music news,
Yeah, yeah.
which really is just could have been Wikipedia, but
Right,
it was
yeah.
actually published on a news website.
Sure, sure.
Has nothing to do with racism, by the way.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's good.
Oh, luckily, huh?
Yeah.
Whoa, yeah. And he's saying why the blacks are so good at dancing now.
Oh, God.
Hi.
Good night, everyone.
That would never be published. But I want him on my podcast.
Yeah, oh, God. Nice to be self-employed.
Musical paralysis. Who knew?
Yeah.
A new survey has revealed the age at which we stop discovering new music. And it's bad news for anyone fast approaching the big 3-0.
Oh, dear.
I know, this person. Why do we give these people jobs? Research by streaming site Deezer reveals that there's a very real phenomenon called musical paralysis, which occurs when music fans stop actively seeking out new tunes. The phenomenon reportedly begins when we hit the age, 38. When quizzed on the reason for stopping in the pursuit of new music, survey participants reportedly offered a multitude of excuses, including having kids and quite simply being a bit swamped. How can you be a bit swamped? Honestly, it was just a little bit of a flood, right? Yeah.
Well,
It was just a tiny traffic jam. It was kind of an apocalypse, but not really.
yeah.
It was a gentle apocalypse.
It
There-
was a minimal torrent.
So there's a bit swamped by the amount of new music on offer, but it gets even worse with 60% of people admitting that they would only actually listen to artists they already know. Musical. Should it be music paralysis or musical paralysis?
Well,
'Cause
musical paralysis
musical,
could
that would
be.
be like those guys. They're like, I ain't going to a fucking musical. They're having a dialogue and some guy starts singing. Fuck that.
I feel
I
like
love
musical
musicals, by the way.
paralysis,
I
though.
love musicals. I love them.
Okay.
I haven't
was-
seen one.
I was in a musical. I
Musicals.
was a cowboy in a musical once. I got to do stunts, jump off of structures, and
Really?
sing and dance and act. Everything.
Sounds amazing.
It was good times.
Yes.
Go musicals. But I don't have musical paralysis. So is this music paralysis or musical paralysis? Get it straight, you fucking journalist.
Well, I keep thinking
Every time I
music.
open up a journalist, I get so angry because these people are supposed to give us information.
Yes.
This is the person that gives me the information.
Well, how reputable a site is this?
It's called.
How many likes does that article have?
It's
Just kidding.
NME.com. New
Oh.
Music Entertainment. It's,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
one
yeah,
Of, it's
okay,
one of the
sure.
big ones.
I do,
It is
yeah.
the big one. That's
Yeah.
why I chose it. So
Well,
that's the standard for our leading online publications.
musical paralysis could also be like picking up drumsticks and then no, can't move. Like yeah,
Yes, yes,
so,
like a
yeah.
like a psychological thing.
Yeah. Like
So music paralysis.
music, yeah. So it's up to us to find a better name for this condition.
I just
perhaps.
got here. I don't know the premise. What's musical paralysis?
Do you still listen to new music? That's
Yeah.
now at your
I was
age.
thinking about where to get. We were talking about music, where to get new music, and then I did some research because I'm a podcaster, and so I wanted to bring in this article by this really shitty journalist, Nick Riley.
I'm sure Nick is fine.
Yeah, he's just quoting from a survey that I could have easily have just Googled, right? And so I'm also to blame. Where to get new music, or do you listen to new music? And they're saying, I was saying, new music is just simply rehashing older music, and there really is no new music. And the new music that's out there is mostly created on iPads, and not really by blood, sweat, and tears, as we were mentioning earlier. So, Takashi Umemiya joins the podcast, and we want to hear from you. What do you think about new music, or acquiring new music, or this asshole's view on new music?
I haven't listened to new music lately. I would hear new music when I'm listening to it live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that counts. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But don't you think also it's they're saying over 30. Isn't that when the nostalgia factor also starts to kick in?
Yeah, and laziness.
Laziness, absolutely. But
I think
Yeah.
I think people in their 30s and above
yeah.
get tired of work and
Yeah.
they want to be comfortable in their music, whatever they're listening.
Yeah, and you start to kind of only remember, you kind of have a filtered memory about when you were younger, about the good old days, and
Yeah.
that's the music you were listening to. So you spend more of your time listening to that type of music to
Yeah.
relive it. And so maybe you're just having more regrets at 30. Yeah.
Are there good old days? I have never ever considered my life having good old days.
Well, we look at it through rose-colored glasses, you know.
Yeah.
Like we have that, you know, it's
I'm
good.
constantly running away from my.
No, I get it. Yeah, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. Your first high school dance, the first girl you
I had
danced
such
with.
a boner. It was incredible.
Yeah, but what song was playing?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was wearing loose boxer briefs, and my boner
yes.
was sticking out at like a straight angle. She kept coming back for more slow dances.
Oh, really?
And after that, I really started to wear boxer briefs.
Boxer briefs, I
Yes,
see.
To
Yes.
avoid the kind of ramrod appearance at a school dance.
You were wearing an athletic supporter from then on, yes, and a solid, steel cup.
Are those rose?
Yeah.
See, those are rose-colored glasses because I actually really didn't like the girl who I was dancing with. She annoyed the shit out of me.
Really?
I wanted nothing to do with her, even though my body was obviously responding in a very positive way.
That's interesting. That mind and body did not agree.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well,
Yes. Yeah.
It's gonna set up.
I mostly remember most of my past through music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good. Yeah. It's kind of the music playing, like if your
Yeah.
life was a movie, that was a soundtrack,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So I think if there's any new music,
Yeah.
there's got to be a new memory attached to it, I think.
Well, maybe a new goal or a
A new
milestone
goal, yeah.
reached. You know what I mean?
When we were young,
Yeah.
we were much more adventurous towards music, I think.
Yeah.
And listening to a new one at this age, I think it would be too much adventure for us.
Really? You can't handle it?
No, I can handle it, but if we're trying to justify that asshole's research, right?
Well, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
the
that-
mold has already been cast, right?
Yeah.
What you like has already been established.
Because I'm open to new music. Like I want to find a
Yeah.
new type of music that makes me not necessarily trigger a distant memory through
Right.
rose-colored glasses, but makes me go, look at what these motherfuckers are doing. I haven't seen that before, you know.
Well,
But
don't you?
I don't find it at all.
Yeah.
I find when I was younger, though, I was also more susceptible to hating a song immediately, especially if people around me didn't like it. Nowadays, I'll take a more open-minded approach and say, I don't like it now, but if I give it a few times, I might like it in the future. So I'm not sure. I think it's really about time to find the new music than anything.
Also, maybe dropping identity as well. Like I'm
Yeah.
a rocker, I'm a reggae guy,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that.
I'm
as an
just
adult, I
tired
don't really
now.
feel that. Just
Yeah.
tired as
Yeah.
somebody who works
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
so many different people.
Right.
I don't really, maybe as when we're up until about 30, we're more
Yeah.
tribal in nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I do reggae, right? Well,
Yes.
m-
And
most-
you do
most-
it very
Yeah,
well,
man.
by the way.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah.
reggae is new to me, actually. I
Really?
started listening to it, I think, 6 years ago.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
I didn't
How
realize.
old are you, Taka?
Do you want the truth or?
Yeah, I'm 38. I'm almost
I'm-
38.
I'm 36.
36. So we're
Yeah.
about the same age.
Yeah.
And you're the
I'm the elder. I'm the
Elder.
tribal elder
the
who's
guy
going to
who
be.
looks the youngest.
chieftain.
With
Yes.
the most hair is the oldest.
Wait, how old am I? Yeah. 46. Yes. It's been a long trip. Yeah.
That's an awkward pause.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, you decide.
You don't look 46.
I've
Yeah.
been lucky.
Yeah.
I'm
I look
lucky.
46.
You look 45.
Thank you.
Hey.
Oh, You-
At least.
who's my buddy?
Got your 6.
How dare you?
But so I agree that most people will probably stop listening to music when they have a kid or they move on with their career,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or they're just like they're busy and they just turn on the radio, whatever's playing that takes them to and from work or whatever.
Right.
But I'm a musical explorer. You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Like I don't like most music, but I'm always hoping that I find like some new music. Like you said, reggae is new to you.
Yeah.
You found it 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's after the age of 30, and then
I
you
think-
decided to pursue it as a big part of your life.
Yeah.
I think
The exception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna try to dig deeper,
Let's do it.
yeah. I started listening to reggae around that time. It was introduced to me by David Letterman, actually.
Oh.
He
How
had
do
a,
you know him?
He had a
Oh.
no. He had a reggae guest on his show. They played the music. They played music towards the end, and then I started listening to more reggae.
Okay.
That's when I got to Bob Marley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Well, I've been a heavy metal and hard rock guy
Really?
for
I didn't
a
know
long
that, actually.
for a long time, and then
It's not surprising
yeah,
Yeah,
and
okay.
then I started listening to reggae,
for me.
and then I've been trying to write songs, write hard rock songs
Yeah.
for years,
Yeah.
and then when I started listening to reggae, and then started writing my own brand of reggae,
Yeah.
it was easier.
Oh, it came more naturally to you.
It came more naturally. So I think it was a calling, or I just got more drunk.
Oh, okay. Yeah. A drunken calling.
Yeah,
There you
a drunken
go.
calling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, was at the time, was when you heard the reggae, what did you feel that inspiration from it? Did it make you relate to anything that you accomplished in your life?
Well,
You know?
if you're listening to hard rock and heavy metal, it's mostly geared towards hate, destruction,
Well,
a lot of
adrenaline,
anger.
you know what I
a lot
mean?
of anger, testosterone.
yeah,
Yeah.
testosterone. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
buy that, sure.
On that music.
Yeah.
And I like it, but there's something very different with reggae. It's
True, yeah.
It's positive.
Yeah.
There's something positive in the lyrics without going through the gospel thingy.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Without going praise the Lord. There's something positive in yeah.
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 Would you say it's more philosophical than religious?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's more common sense. Yeah.
Keep doing that while we're talking. It's a good soundtrack.
So that's a good point, because you want to find positive music, but you
Yeah.
don't want to be indoctrinated
Sure.
into
Yeah.
some other person's. It's like sometimes the music is a gateway to
Yeah.
a secret plan down the road.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
by the time you realize that secret plan,
Mm-mm.
you're deep in the choir.
Yeah.
So it's,
You're preaching.
It's more about being positive and finding an individualistic
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah, maybe.
And you're a working man, right?
Yes.
Like you're a blue collar guy,
Yeah.
right? Like so does reggae appeal to you on the working man level?
There's a lot of common man theme on the music, so I feel like I can relate to it more. It's like the system is trying to push us down, kind of thing. Yeah, and if you're like me, you work 12 hours and then you go past that, you work for 16 hours. It's like you feel like, here we go again. They're trying to burn me down.
Yeah.
Do
Only
you
the
really
music.
work 16-hour shifts?
Not all the time, but most of the time it's 12. Yeah.
Mhm. So today you worked a 12-hour shift?
No, 8.
8.
Yeah.
So it's a light day for you
Yeah.
on a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
See?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. But I can understand reggae if you're like a working man, you're working 12 hours a day and you're just listening to this.
Yeah, it gets tiring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to find a way. You need to get a better concept
Yeah.
in order to deal with that.
Yeah.
Have you guys been playing shows recently?
We stopped playing shows because we're getting ready for recording the new album.
Oh, great.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I did some recording recently too, Dead Sea Dropouts.
Yeah, how was it?
Good. It's good. We're doing it ourselves. I'm doing it with basically the similar equipment you see here, but different microphones. But it'll be good enough. It'll be good enough. And I'm wondering about distribution. So, how are you gonna do the CD thing? Are you gonna
Well, the dream of mine when I started doing this music thingy was to have albums in CDs, because when I was a kid, I used to look at artists that I liked and their CDs, and they have
That stack of
the
CDs.
stack
Yeah.
of
It's
CDs.
so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. And even if they don't sell,
Yeah.
I want mine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You want your CD to be in the stack kind
Yeah.
of thing? Yeah.
So you're going CDs?
yeah. I'm going CDs and I'm going digitally too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about doing a series of recordings where we record 4 or 5 songs over a 6-hour period and then releasing those as EPs on a website.
Oh.
So then you have that stack, but it's a
Yeah.
digital stack. Because one thing that I'm not really a fan of is the SoundCloud distribution to everywhere.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
then I promote SoundCloud,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
because then I say get my music on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
But if I can say get my music on my website, and I have a bunch of icons that represent physical products, that might be a cooler approach.
Yeah.
Because like I've released a lot of music in my life, but it's always been like either locally in CDs before internet, or when I released a lot of online music, but then those websites
Websites. Yeah, that's a new thing.
get shut down, and then that music is going forever. And so I think I want to be able to manage my own content myself, like really strictly. And then that's my benefit, is that I don't have to promote another company
Yeah.
for them to put my song into an algorithm
Yeah.
that promotes the songs that they want to promote. That's kind of a sucker punch, you know?
Yeah.
So
Well, one of the reasons one of the reasons I wanted to release my songs through iTunes. I'm not promoting iTunes, but I just said iTunes.
Yes.
Well, according to my cousin, who's an attorney, a lawyer, it's hard. It will be costly to apply for copyright for your own songs.
Oh, yeah.
But if you have an official, I think, official thing on writing that has your name and copyright on the side,
Yeah.
then it's yours.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I think iTunes is official enough.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Because if I do it on my website, it will be like there's nothing official on it.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it gives you that official stamp
Yeah.
that this is yours.
I think that's the iTunes thing is for the stamp. But if they sell on iTunes, then I get 5%.
iTunes does take 30%. I would say iTunes is the exception because
Yeah.
people still go to iTunes. But
Yeah.
then Apple Music does the streaming and then this streaming and
Yeah.
I don't like, do you guys stream music?
No.
We're trying something. Me and my wife are trying something. We have an extra iPhone. I don't know if this will work because CD Baby, which I pay, and
Yeah.
then they distribute the music, right?
Yeah.
CD Baby gives us data 3 months after the fact. So we will know about this in 2 months, I think. We have an extra phone at home,
Yeah.
and it has Apple Music on it.
Okay.
And we've been streaming my own music 24
I see.
hours nonstop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're gonna try to give you an update on how much we made
That's
on
great,
those.
man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll follow up with that
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea. To
With
see if they're
experiment,
actually
Yeah.
actually giving they must be giving the money out. The money is so little at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of like 0.003 yen per stream sometimes, and it's like
Spotify has 0.01 cent.
yeah.
Is it really? Wow.
So it's not even worth my time to check the statistics. Like,
yeah.
It sounds like commie bullshit.
Yeah.
Isn't that commie bullshit?
I'm not sure which ideology bullshit it
I
is,
still
but it
ain't
is.
communist at the moment.
Yeah.
It can still go as capitalism bullshit because
yeah.
somebody's making money and it's not the artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they always make claims like, "Oh, we were doing a $5 billion blah de blah." It's like, but if you divide $5 billion amongst all of your
Yeah.
employees and then through every musician contributing, it's
Yeah.
like pennies on the dollar.
Yeah,
business
absolutely.
models. I wonder why they're so pursuing it. You know, like Amazon pursues it. I wonder if it's just a way to collect data. Like, I don't know, data is the new bacon. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, the
I
more
like that, though.
the
It is
more
new bacon.
artists promote
Okay.
their site, the more eyeballs they have.
Yeah.
Even if, for example, even if we don't really sell that much on iTunes, we're still saying iTunes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's,
Yeah.
it's still free publicity for them,
So
even
how much
even
did
though.
we just advertise iTunes and SoundCloud right now and not advertise ourselves, our own music?
Which is available on iTunes. My music.
Takashi Umemiya,
Yeah.
comrades.
Yeah.
When you say comrades, do you mean communists?
Yeah, no, that's
No.
why I didn't want you to say commie bullshit, because I mean, that's. You know.
We don't really follow ideologies on our band.
I remember
in
I
our
asked
band.
you in the previous podcast that we did.
Mm-hmm.
You were like on podcast 52 or something
Yeah.
like that way back when, and
Yeah.
you said it sounded rebellious, like you wanted to have a rebellious
Yeah.
name
Yeah,
behind that.
because it was Takashi Umemiya and friends, and like, we're not Sesame Street. We don't need the term friends.
Here?
Who's the Cookie Monster then? Pettery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Grover. He's a mixture of the Cookie Monster and
Yeah.
Grover.
I'm just imagining Petri on Sesame Street, like arguing with people.
Yeah.
Well, he's more of an Oscar to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oscar
yeah.
the Grouch.
Yeah.
He does live in a garbage.
Yeah. I said more. I didn't
Smells
say
like
definitely
one
what. No,
too.
easy. I don't.
Oh, we have to give that guy a shout out because he works at the Soul Food House.
Yeah, Soul
Yes.
Food
And I
House.
mentioned it on the last podcast, but
Yeah.
I didn't mention Petri, who's like cooking the food.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, what's up, Petri?
Yes.
Oh,
Petri.
we have a camera here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, and we downloaded Petri's brains into it. So it's running at very low optimal speed.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why the light is always red, though.
Yes.
How wide is it?
And it's wide enough.
Wide enough?
Yeah, you can choose. It's the first time I've used it, so I'm not sure if it's gonna.
Are you gonna are you planning to release this on video?
Yeah.
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 Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. I'm
Should've
wondering
wore-
how this output goes into the camera for the sound quality, but we'll see where it goes from there. But
Well, you can edit and add this audio.
that's true.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
do it.
Just
But
like
I like I like this idea of having a studio.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the lighting makes us all look.
How did you find this place?
Yeah, I asked the same question.
My girlfriend, my wife, I mentioned that I was tired of doing it in karaoke booths, and
Yeah.
she just found this space. She's like, "There's lots of rental space available. Let's see if we can find it." 5 minutes later, paid for, reserved, confirmed.
Wow.
Yeah, there we go. Can you send that picture?
Yeah, we definitely want to see
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Did you just take our picture?
No, because I was hoping to get a picture of all of us on microphone. I think it
Ah.
looks cool. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, all right. Let's do a podcast picture.
Podcast picture.
Did you
The
take it?
nerdiest term
Yeah.
ever.
We're doing pictures on an audio
Yes.
broadcast.
We're doing a podcast photo shoot.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Questions. We got some questions.
Okay.
Why do all music videos feature 1 minute of intro footage?
Sorry about that.
Why? Music videos never get to the music. Like, I have to watch, and then sometimes the music itself has another minute of intro. So I have to, like, for a 5-minute video of a music video, 2 minutes of it is intro with intro.
If it's about the making of it, maybe it's just the relatability of it with fans. The other thing is, though, the more that it's you have an intro, the more of it's actually like a movie or a television episode, which at the time when they first started doing it made it a lot more novel. Nowadays, it's kind of everybody's running with it, and now it's a trend. But the first person that did do it, it was more of an event. It was, I'm thinking like Michael Jackson, actually.
P. Diddy was big into that.
Yeah, but when Michael Jackson did that, they made a television special
Thriller.
around the release, and then Dangerous after that, what was it, Black and White, the video for that was like on, it was on Fox, I think it was, but it was a television special, the release of his new promotion video, because he had made such it became almost like a self-contained movie. So I think people are still just.
Do you like it? Drives me nuts. Even if you did it.
I have a lot of videos like that.
Yeah.
Well, I think the first time you see it, yes, and maybe they're just trying to make an impression so you don't forget it.
I just don't even hear it.
Yeah, after
I opt out. Or with YouTube these days, I just click to the middle.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's just beginning.
Yep, that's a good point. After the first time seeing it, yeah, I'm kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
You're right, but yeah, whatever. I mean, so many different people are fighting for your attention. Any way to get a leg up. I guess that's part of it.
I think it depends on who wrote the music and whose idea the video is. For example, well, I'm gonna talk about myself because, well, for myself, I think writing lyrics is limiting because you have to match the melody.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's some words that you want to put in there, but it doesn't fit. So whenever I write music, I already have an idea on how the music video would go. Yeah.
Oh, so you're maybe that intro is just establishing the mood more. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
what the song is about and
Yeah.
Where can people find your music videos?
And they're on YouTube /Takashi Umemiya without the space. That's TAKASHIUMEMIYA. I repeat, that's TAKASHIUMEMIYA.
Don't miss it.
Yeah.
Catch it now. That's cool. Here we go. And this one's about Justin Bieber.
Okay.
Oh.
This is a weird one, and this also goes back to really shitty journalists, who really are the worst. I have a degree in journalism, by the way, and after I graduated from university, I spent like 6 months in a shipping and receiving appliance center in a warehouse.
Oh, wow.
And then I tried to find a job at a book publishing warehouse in
Yeah.
shipping and receiving.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get any jobs.
Really?
And so this is the result. You didn't hire me, and now this is where we stand.
The world suffers.
The lawsuit relates, this is about Justin Bieber. The lawsuit relates to an incident that took place in 2016. So Justin Bieber is being sued for allegedly punching a man at a hotel and using racial slurs. The pop star was involved in an accident at the Westin Hotel in Cleveland, Ohio on June 8th, 2016. So when the person took Justin Bieber's photo, Justin Bieber's demeanor dramatically changed, with the singer said to have become irate and aggressively threatening to hurt the photo taker if the photo wasn't deleted. The person who's suing also claimed that the altercation took place in front of a crowd and that Bieber used racial slurs during it. Did you know about this?
No.
No, but it sounds like so many other cases. Like you don't know who to believe. I mean, it all depends on whose account giving you the
I'm a
account.
believer.
The last thing
Did you
I heard about
Introduce
Justin
that just so
Bieber
you
was
could say
the
that.
monkey.
That's it, right? Moving on. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Takashi?
I don't know much about Justin Bieber. The last time I heard about him was the monkey stuck in Germany.
What?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
His monkey was confiscated in Germany and now it's a Nazi.
And the monkey has AIDS.
Oh, okay. That one. Okay, that monkey.
Justin Bieber's AIDS monkey. You didn't know about that?
No, I can't say I have.
No?
Yes.
He's like one of the original, like, you know how these rich people like to collect the original ones? Justin Bieber's like on this quest to find the original AIDS monkey
Oh,
and then, you know, put it in a cage.
this is an urban legend, right?
No, it's
It's-
totally legit.
Yeah. And he's holding a beer.
Yeah, I don't think that monkey had AIDS, by the way.
Yeah.
It was the wrong one.
It
But
used
he
protection.
bought a monkey and he brought it to Germany.
And they confiscated it.
Yeah.
That was way back.
That was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, 6 years ago. That's how much I don't know about Justin Bieber.
Do you really think he used racial slurs?
What's a racial slur? You know what I mean? Like, you could.
Well,
Don't give me an example,
Oh,
but
okay.
you know what I mean. Like, it's all in the context of the person listening. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and another thing is you don't, if whether or not you like Bieber or not, he could just be. He could have been set up with that because, like, paparazzi take pictures, they get in your face, they take pictures, they try to goad you because anything that you do, they can use. If they lose their temper, you can sell footage like that, because controversy sells.
I don't like how the world is going right now.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. What's this thing about political correctness? What happened to freedom of speech?
Yeah.
What happened to people being angry and then acting like
Yeah.
angry people?
Right.
If you're angry, you're allowed to say whatever you want without being
Well, it's
they're
now
about to change
yeah.
the name of Angry Birds
to politically correct
Safe
birds.
Space Birds.
Well, it's actually been turned into a kind of a profit-making business to get
Yeah.
someone on video losing their temper if they're famous. You know
Yeah.
that you can make money off
Perfect. It's
Yeah.
called Kanshi Shihon Shugi.
What?
it. Really?
Kanshi, surveillance.
Yeah.
Shihon Shugi, capitalism.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay.
Surveillance capitalism.
Media. Yeah.
It's everything. It's the next wave of the economy.
Right.
Everything that can be observed
Yeah.
can be sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because data is the new bacon.
Right.
So the reason why, like for example, we have smartphones, right?
Yeah.
And people, even podcasting is a form of kanshi shihon shugi,
Yeah.
surveillance
Oh, yeah.
capitalism. We have like 4K streaming capabilities on the newest smartphones.
Sure.
And we have radio frequency connections to publish things
Yeah.
anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
And now the editing software is free.
Yeah.
So I could make a movie
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody makes movies.
Yeah.
That's not what this medium is for.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything about this medium is about tracking,
Yeah.
data tracking, data users, location. You look on Google at a restaurant, when are the busiest times? How do they know those are the busiest times? They know because of user data amalgamating in those restaurants at those times. Right below the busiest times, you have reviews of the restaurant.
Right.
Why do you have reviews of those restaurants? Because people are writing reviews of what they ate.
Right.
Everybody taking pictures of their food and posting it online.
Yeah.
That's all surveillance capitalism, and that's what sells.
Yeah.
And so, when's the last time somebody you know made a short film? When was the last time you went and saw an artistic movie in a movie theater compared to 10 years ago? This thing is, this is a medium, then this is the new medium.
Yeah.
This medium is surveillance capitalism.
Yeah.
To think about it any other way is the wrong way to think about it. And it's only going to increase with the amount of AI, IoT, big data, analytics. It's all pushing towards surveillance capitalism. And if this is the decision that society has made, then we have to try to like tip it towards a beneficial one
Yeah.
instead of like a evil one. Because we can have good government and bad government, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
We can have good food and bad food. Maybe it's also possible to have good surveillance capitalism and bad surveillance capitalism, right?
Yeah.
So if we're living in a world of surveillance capitalism, and we are, there's no way around it,
Yes.
then how do we shift it towards a positive use case as opposed to a totalitarian one?
Well, fight it. Can I tell a story about myself again? Huh.
Absolutely.
Sure. All
Well,
right.
We live for those.
Because this story goes along those lines, surveillance capitalism or something like that.
Kanshi Shihon Shugi.
Yeah, whatever he said. Well, I drive a truck, right? And we have drive recorders, cameras on our trucks. And
That's surveillance capital.
yeah, that's surveillance. But when that first came out, I fought against it, and they said it's to prevent accidents. And I said it's not gonna prevent accidents. You just want evidence,
Yeah.
right? And I don't have any record of accidents. So I told the manager at the time that I'm gonna let you install that camera if you promise that you're gonna look at it only if I have an accident.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that manager quit,
Yeah.
and my stand was violated when the new manager came in, and then they installed another camera which is looking outside and inside.
I see. Yeah.
And by that time, I got tired of fighting against the new guy because
Yeah.
I don't give a damn about him. But lately, they installed a new camera not from our company, but from another company who wanted to collect data on drivers because according to them, it's from a government funded project
Yeah.
to collect data on drivers on how on how our eyes move during driving. driving.
That's new,
Yeah.
new AI technology.
Yeah.
It tracks your eye movement,
Yeah.
so it knows if you're staring at your
Yeah.
iPhone while you're driving or something like that.
And I took a stand against it. I told them that if this is a government experiment or something, then it should be voluntary.
Yeah.
You cannot force this upon me.
Right.
I didn't volunteer for this, so I'm not gonna turn it on. If you turn it on, I'm gonna quit immediately.
Wow.
They didn't turn it on. They
Okay.
haven't turned it on yet.
Yet. But there's these diagrams of acceptance of populations.
Yeah.
And you're a laggard.
Yeah.
You're the person who accepts it last.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people. And the idea behind this goes beyond just you as an individual.
Yeah.
It goes into country level.
Yeah.
So a country level's technological abilities means it has a certain amount of independence at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you develop the highest technology, you can export that technology. So if China develops the highest level of AI, which it currently is doing, it can export that level of AI to other countries as well.
Yeah.
And that means that if a country doesn't develop that technology itself, it means it's going to have to accept this Kanshi Shihon Shugi from other countries.
Yeah.
And how do you know they're using that in the right way or not?
Yeah.
It's totally nuts.
Yeah. But
And that's why I think that as we push forward into surveillance capitalism, things like music becomes less relevant because there's so much of a focus on pushing us forward into this new digital realm that music is not really being focused on. It's like,
Yeah.
we did that, guys. Now it's
Yeah.
time to
More-
really get some surveillance capitalism going.
Yeah.
Follow me?
More
Yeah.
of an instant gratification kind of media, do you mean? Or do you...
I don't even think that most people know how this is affecting the media. Like 5-6 years ago, how many people were filming you on their iPhones at shows?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Very few. Now,
Yeah.
almost all the time.
yeah.
And I go to
Yeah,
these
yeah.
shows at What the Dickens, and people are dancing like this on the dance floor.
Yeah.
They're surveilling
yeah.
themselves.
Right, because
and
that's...
publishing
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So it's not really about the band, it's how can I find ways to use surveillance capitalism.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what was it? It's a new addiction, frankly. In that case,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
getting that kind of media attention, getting likes or something is there was a
You're rewarded for your
Right.
surveillance capitalism,
Right.
likes and shares.
Yeah.
there was
That's the economy.
right.
Yeah.
You can get 600,000 shares on Twitter, or you could get $600,000. I would take the dollars, but there's plenty of motherfuckers out there that would take maybe take the likes or the shares.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the world we live in right
that's
now.
more impactful.
Yeah.
That guy got 600,000 likes on his tweets.
Yeah, he's quite popular. He got
Yeah.
a lot of likes.
Let's surveillance capitalism that.
Yeah.
This is so serious, and I researched this, and I've been researching this like for 2.5 years now, like 20, 30 hours a week, and it's really where we're going, and there's no escape. It's like we're in the river of time,
Yeah.
and surveillance capitalism is a waterfall that we're not going to be able to avoid. So where do we want to be? What kind of barrel do you want to be in for when we go over this point? Because first it's surveillance capitalism, which is digitizing everything to monetize it.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's the singularity event. And the singularity event is when machines become more intelligent than humans, apparently. I don't necessarily believe that, but that's where the leaders of the world are pointing our societies in, left, right, and center, politically.
Yeah.
And the investment as well. Hundreds of billions of dollars. Version 1, next version, hundreds of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. I make, less than 100 grand a year. I'm not going to be able to fight that at a very serious level. I have to learn to accept this at some point and try to influence it in a positive change. So that when I am enveloped in this surveillance capitalism, it's not a negative way.
Yeah.
It's in a way that I'm able to cope with it, or a way that will enable me to understand the implications of it. There are some interesting companies that are trying to do this using blockchain technology. One of them is a company called Civic. And this is a blockchain technology that allows you to control the amount of information you send through your phone. So if, for example, there's a beer vending machine, and you go up to it and you scan the QR code and you have some sort of cryptocurrency attached to your phone, you can pay for that beer with cryptocurrency.
Right. Yeah.
But your age is verified in your phone. But your phone will only tell the machine that you're over the age of 21. And that's verified information connected to your thumbprint or something like
Right.
that. So it's biometric data reading. So they don't know how old you are.
Yeah.
They don't know who you are. They don't know where you're from. They just know that you are of age to be able to purchase a beer from a vending machine.
Yeah.
That's another example of surveillance capitalism, or dealing with surveillance capitalism. So that's kind of interesting.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
Is it still surveillance if it's by choice?
Yes. You can self-surveil. So it was a security camera in your house. You're surveilling potential intruders into your home. Yeah. You're surveilling your pets to make sure if they've done anything wrong. I would say it's surveillance.
I think the world is going that way, but I think that the only way we can fight it is by forcing choice, right?
Yeah.
If we choose what is supposed to be surveilled and made money out of, then I think we win. Even though it's a bad thing, but we still get something out of it. I think we still get to live our life if we have a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good thing is that a lot of these massive decision makers don't know the specifics of where it goes.
Yeah.
They can just kind of say, over there now.
Yeah.
But we as individuals can decide how to exist in that framework.
Yeah.
And the more you know about that framework, the more choices you have to operate with inside of it. Yeah.
Wow.
It's nuts, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
It's totally nuts. No one's talking about it.
Yeah.
Even this Justin Bieber piece of shit news articles from a video taken in 2016.
Yeah.
And that's like the #1 news story.
Yeah.
Not how we can actually use blockchain technology to distribute audio equipment or audio experiences all over the world. We should be developing this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, gives you a quick fix, you know what I mean, of your controversy, of your celebrity controversy news, you know, that you can consume quickly and react to quickly. Something like blockchain technology is something that you have to take in over time and process, and a lot of people just don't want to do that anymore.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it is.
But it's going to happen. Maybe that will be the next wave. When we can, as musicians and as creators, use some of this technology in our own way and then spread it out in such a manner and then pass that along to a next generation of people.
Yeah.
Or that will be able to use it then. Instead of this, I'm going to try to be a freaky, nice person with very PC values that gets likes, and I'm also a musician, so I'm going to write a song about that. Like, my music is so deeply, not mine, but for example, that person, their music is so deeply embedded into a political ideology that they're not really expressing anything of themselves. They're just promoting through music
An
belief
ideology,
system.
yeah.
Which is poisonous, actually,
Yeah.
right? Because as an individual,
Yes.
you're sacrificing your individuality
Yeah.
for conformity.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. Conformity is cool these
Yeah.
days. So
Well, if I release a surveillance video and use my own music as a background music,
Yes.
then it's a
Ahead.
plus for me.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's how stupid I think.
what
If
the
you
Taliban
if you
does.
stream your own music on your extra Apple phone, that's
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
that's exactly, you
Yeah.
are surveillance capitalizing on
Yes.
yourself.
Yeah.
And that's how you're going to make some coin, perhaps.
I
Yes.
think. I don't
Fingers
know
crossed,
yet.
right?
I don't know yet.
We will know the results.
We will know
I'm
that.
really curious
Yeah.
about that. All right. Well, we didn't get to half the questions I wanted to ask you, Tom Melesky, but I thought we had a good chat.
Yeah, I think so. It was pretty substantial.
Are you going already?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's 7:00. We have this place reserved until 7:30,
Oh.
and we gotta clean up, so we got about 10 more minutes
Okay.
max. But I was even thinking that'd be a good place to leave it, unless there's anything. You got any shows coming up?
Well, we've been invited to a lot of shows starting July, around mid-July. I don't know if we can make all those dates. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know the exact dates yet.
I already asked that question.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, but it's all right. You already said so. Where can people find you, Tom Melensky? Melesky. Sorry, I said it again. I bookended it with an error.
Well, I'd say a couple things on Twitter. I have an account. It's just @boringgaijin, and I just take videos of independent artists from all over the world and promote them. And every month I kind of tally up the likes and retweets and come up with a top 15 ranking for each band. So if you want to come down and check and like or retweet a video, that would be great. @boringgaijin, one word. I will be working with Mickey on his zombie rock opera at What the Dickens in July 22nd. So if you're
Yeah.
interested in zombies or music or drinking, come down and enjoy the show.
Mickey's doing a...
We have Mickey next week on the
Yeah.
Beach House.
Oh, that's
Beach
good.
House, right?
We're gonna tape it. We're gonna tape it. We're not gonna go live.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, without a good internet connection, doing it live is, well, we have more views, but we're losing quality on the videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always go quality over
Quantity.
numbers,
Yeah.
That's how I'm incorporating Kanshi Shihon Shugi into my life.
Yeah.
What final thoughts, Taka? What do you think about all this?
Well, you touched on something, conformity. I think that's stupid. Yeah. There's a lot of people who says a Democrat should be president or a Republican should be president. Why can't there be a third guy? Someone who doesn't promote either political party. You know? Yeah. Yeah, man. Why can't there be an independent voice?
One that
Why?
cries out from the darkness
Yeah.
and reaches to everyone who's alone, crying out for needs and wants that no one else seems to listen to.
Yeah.
It's because our population is tribal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's why I'm doing the Beach House.
Yes. In other words, listen to the Beach House next week with special guest Mickey Acorn.
Yeah. Well, watch it. Not listen to it.
Well, if your eyes are closed, you'd be listening to it.
Yeah.
All right.
On that note,
That's a shameless plug.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
still
you,
good
yeah.
to hang out if you want to hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. Peace.
Peace.
take care now.